Hey, what's up? This is Sully from Godsmack. Strap on those boots, baby, because you are now in the trenches of the war room with the one and only Mistress Carrie right here on the Mistress Carrie podcast.
What's up? This is Joe Rogan, and you're listening to Mistress Carrie.
Her hair so lovely. Pretty eyes.
Hey, this is Brent from Shinedown, and you're listening to Mistress Carrie. Hey, Carrie, go put your bra on, girl.
Hey, this is Steven Tyler, and you be listening to the baddest bitch in Boston, Mistress Carrie.
What's up? This is Aaron from Stain, and you're listening to Mistress Carrie.
Hi, everybody. This is Dave Grohl from the Foo Fighters, and you're listening to the one, the only Mistress Carrie.
Hey, this is David from the band Disturbed, and you're listening to the baddest bitch in Boston, Mistress Carrie.
Hi, Bruce Dickinson here from Iron Maiden. Yes, indeed, Miss Whiplash herself, Mistress Carrie, is here to unchain your brain.
Hi, this is Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. You're listening to Mistress Carrie.
This is Dennis Leary. You are listening to my favorite, Mistress Carrie.
Hey, this is Corey from Stone Sour, and you have the privilege of listening to Mistress Carrie. Oh, God. Oh, yeah.
Hey, it's Mistress Carrie, reporting for duty from MCHQ for episode 322 of the Mistress Carrie podcast. Guitarist Billy Morrison returns to the show. He's been playing with Billy Idol for nearly 18 years, but he's also a member of Royal Machine, Circus Diablo, and has toured with artists like The Cult, and he's getting ready to release his new solo album this Friday, August 7th, called Hollow. His sophomore solo album features Nuno Bettencourt from Extreme, Sully Erna from Godsmack, Dexter Holland from The Offspring, Marilyn Manson, Chad Gray, Darryl McDaniels, Steve Stevens, Chuck D, Be Real, Duff McKagan, and more. Billy Morrison talks about crafting this unexpected follow-up to his highly successful debut album, The Morrison Project, becoming more confident as a lead guitarist, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, his first guitar, his love of English candy, and so much more. There is never a doubt where you stand when you talk to Billy Morrison. I was so happy that he accepted my invitation to come back on the show. You can see him out on the road with Billy Idol this summer before Billy Idol gets inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as part of the class of 2026 coming up in November. So allow me to reintroduce you to Billy Morrison. Billy Morrison is back on the show. Hi.
Thank you for having me back.
It's nice to see you. You were on the show before the Morrison Project came out about a year and a half ago. And obviously it wasn't that terrible of an experience for you because you're back.
No, it wasn't. I will tell you that I say yes to everything. But actually, that's not true. That's not true. No, I had a great time last time, and I basically go back to the places that have supported what I do. Why would I not? You know what I mean? You were very kind on the Morrison Project, and why would I not come back? It's tough to say yes and go back to people that have just ripped you to pieces.
Yeah, I would think so. You're talking to a Sicilian woman from Boston, trust me. When it comes to grudges, you're speaking my language.
However, I also will say, God willing, no one's ripped anything I've done to pieces, which is kind of nice to be able to say that.
I wanted to thank you right off the bat because I am holding an advanced vinyl copy of the new album that you very nicely signed for me and sent. I feel like I hold so much power because I have it before it comes out.
You have it 2 weeks before it comes out. And also, how cool is that packaging?
The packaging is great. And I also, I love the splatter vinyl.
Yeah, it's great, right? It's like a gray marble. For those of you who are just listening, it's like a gray marble, but it's solid. It's not see-through. It's amazing. I love it.
Have you gone to the vinyl printing place to see how they make them? A lot of artists have done that, and they said it's so cool.
I'd love to, but here's the thing. I live in LA, and we get ours pressed. Well, so a company called Memphis Vinyl do it. Presumably, they're in Memphis.
You would think.
But they're not in LA. And so, until I actually go to that city, but I'd love to see it get done.
I've seen videos of it, and it looks really cool.
Sure,
especially how they do like the marble and the splatter vinyl.
Well, then you can get involved and you can be dropping bits of color in, I'd love to do all that, but I can't do it all.
Well, you can try. You're doing well so far.
I'm doing all right, yeah.
The new album, Hollow, comes out on August 7th. The first thing I have to talk to you about, you were surrounded by mass holes on the first single with Sully and Nuno, who I have known for decades, separately, obviously, and both because they've been friends for a long time. I talked to Nuno after he recorded the song with you, and he said that it's a very tricky thing when a friend sends you a song because it's hard to tell a friend no if the song sucks. He said he was very happy that he didn't have to say that with you because he loved the song.
Suck. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, he's absolutely right. Nuno is a friend. He's a lovely guy. He's an incredible guitar player. And I take that chance when I send every song to everyone that I'm asking to do something. That's why it's friends only, really. There's no one. I mean, I had never met Chad Gray. Chad Gray was, we can talk about how he came into the mix, but everyone else, they're friends. And so I also trust my friends to go, dude, this is terrible. I'm not doing this. And
trust me, a couple of massholes like Sully and Nuno would 100% not have a problem telling you that.
100%. I know Sully and Nuno both would have said, I don't like this. I don't want to do it. And there's not a problem. But I value that and I appreciate that. And I wouldn't want to. It's not a collaboration if it's anything other than that, because then it's a dictatorship, and I don't have any interest in that. Nuno's right. It's very high. It's really nerve-wracking. Look, I get the same thing. People ask me to play on stuff, and I'm like, but what if it's terrible? So luckily, apparently it's not terrible.
It's not terrible. Taking your friendship out of it, because being friends with both of those guys as well. I mean, hell, Nuno played my high school before Extreme got their record deal, and my radio station helped Sully get his record deal. So when I say I've known them a long time, both I have. Take your friendship out of the mix. Talk to me about Sully's vocal ability and lyric ability on this song.
Oh, it's crazy. So luckily, look, sometimes, occasionally, the vocals are done on my album by sending tracks to someone else because they're on tour or they live, like Dexter. He was on tour. He actually took a day off of one of his days off on tour and went into a recording studio in Canada and recorded his vocals and sent me the tracks back. With Sully, I was lucky enough to be in the same room. He was coming to LA anyway, and we had already agreed that instrumentally the song was strong and he wanted to do it, and he had sent me his lyrics, which we can talk about in a second. Absolutely amazing. But because he was coming to LA and he was going to play at a gig that I was doing, a charity show, he was going to get up. So we arranged it. We may as well record in a studio in LA. And so we set that up. So that was one of the vocal sessions that I got to sit and watch. And same as Manson. I did it with Manson as well. I got to sit at that. That was about 4 or 5 days of working with the guy. And when you get to sit and watch these iconic voices do what they do, if you're clever, you shut up and you listen and you watch and you learn and you soak it in. That's what I did with Ozzy for years. Just shut the fuck up and watch him, because he is a master at what he does. So Sully. I'm a huge Godsmack fan, and, he knew what he wanted. And he walked in ready to go. That's the other thing. It's not, I need 19 coffees and a line of Coke. Sully Erna walks in at 10 o'clock in the morning. He's like, I'm ready. I'm focused. And we worked all day and we did all of those vocals in one day. And he guided the session. He knows, he'll do it. He'll be like, right, I want to double track that one. Not that one. Let's use that take. Like he was a joy to watch. And he's lyrically, we come from a similar story, I guess. We have a lot of similarities. So the moment he showed me those lyrics, I'm like, well, I relate to those. That works perfectly for me because it is a Billy Morrison album. Even though I've got a bunch of friends on it, I am producing it. And cohesively, it is me playing 90% of the instruments and writing 90% of the music and producing. So I need those lyrics to fit the overarching consistency of the record. Well, Sully is easy.
That voice that comes out of him, when you watch him sing, especially up close, he's got this giant vein in his neck.
They all do. They all do. All those singers that you want to watch Corey Taylor sing.
We talked about him the last time you were on the show.
It's got the same neck. It's singer's neck, I guess. Which I clearly don't have. So clearly I'm not that guy.
Yeah, my voice does one thing. It's bitch. That's all it does. There's no vocal ability in it. But I don't have that singer's neck. It's insane.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really cool.
The other half of the dynamic Boston duo on that song is Nuno. As a guitar player, talk to me about what people may not understand about exactly how good of a player he is.
Oh, I mean, if you're out there and you don't understand how good of a player Nuno Bettencourt is, you're living under a rock. I mean, the guy, first of all, I mean, I've done gigs with the guy. I've stood on the stage with him. He has a knowledge and an experience of tone that not many people have. He is actively involved in where the mic is placed when he gets up on a stage, when he records. He is so deep into tone and knows what he wants and what his tone is and where that's placed in the mix. Very few guitar players are that intricate in the tonal and production side of things. And then watch his fingers. I mean, what the guy does is superhuman, There's only a few players that I've played with a lot, and I'm not going to list it, but because of the other band that I play in, Royal Machines, I've played with almost every great lead guitar player there is, all of them. And there's not many that reach the heights of Nuno Bettencourt. Steve Stevens is another one. The things these guys do, Slash, they do superhuman shit. And so hopefully that describes how good Nuno is, and Steve and Slash.
Well, they say, I ask all the time, do you think musical ability is genetic or is it learned? And look, I subscribe to the 10,000 hour theory, right? I talked to Wolfgang about this because he's got genes, but you can all, I know genetically my skeletal structure, no matter how many hours I try, my fingers, I've watched those Nuno solos up close. My fingers don't bend that way.
Right. And at a certain point, you have to realize, look, I am a lead guitar player. And I proved that on this record. On the last record, I had John Five. There's another guy, John Five, does nothing in his life but play guitar all day, every day.
When he was on the show, he sat there the whole time noodling while I was talking to him.
Right. And so I had Steve Vai and John Five and Steve Stevens. I had all these huge lead guitar players on the last album. And I realized I don't need to, because I can play lead. Not like them. I play like me. And so all of the lead, other than 2 songs on this record, it's all me. I put Steve Stevens on a track because I love him. He's my brother. I'm in a band with him and I wanted him on. And I put Nuno on because it made sense for that song with Sully and the Boston and the whole thing. Every other lead guitar is me. And I don't have to be able to play like Steve or Nuno. I will never be able to play like Steve or Nuno. And there's a guitar. I'm looking at guitars everywhere. This is my studio. I practice. I play for a living. I'm playing arenas all year long. no matter what I do, I will never be able to do what Nuno does or Steve does. But I would also say, not sure they would be able to play what I play. Not because it's technically difficult, because here's a great example and why I say what I say. Steve Jones from the Sex Pistols, his solos, technically, we can all play. Nuno can play them, I can play them, anyone can play them. No one can make them sound like Steve Stevens.
It's like AC/DC.
Like Steve Jones.
Angus Young is the riff guy. You can't sound like Angus.
It's the same thing. So I think it is a combination of technical ability, and Nuno has it all, and Steve Stevens has it all, and tone and what comes out of fingers. They don't have these massive chunky fingers that I have. And so I think lead guitar is not always about how many notes per second and how fast your fingers move, and sometimes it's about the space you leave free. Sometimes it's about the notes you don't play in a solo. And so, while I want to clarify what I just said, technically anyone can play any of my leads, but are they going to sound like me playing those leads? Maybe not. Maybe not. I certainly can't sound like Nuno Bettencourt. That's for sure.
Nuno told me a story years ago that Frank Zappa's son introduced him to Eddie Van Halen during a Van Halen rehearsal, and he got to live his dream of playing Eddie's guitar, Eddie's strings, Eddie's gear, everything. And he goes, I'm finally going to get to sound like Eddie. And he goes, I still sounded like me. So it proves exactly what you're talking about.
I did exactly the same with Steve Jones. He was going to play with us, and I had my gear, and I was rehearsing God Save the Queen with the band. Sounded great. Didn't sound like Steve Jones. He walked into the building. He took my guitar off me, played through my amp, sounded exactly like Steve Jones. So what can I tell you? It's in the fingers.
I got to talk to you about the hip hop side of things, because on the last record, you and I talked about the Pope, otherwise known as Darryl McDaniels. He's back on this album, and you've added Be Real and Chuck D as well.
Yeah, I just, that is a case of me going one more, going to 11, doing a Spinal Tap.
It always sounds better with the accent too.
It really is. It's like, this one goes to 11. I love hip hop, as we know. And I had this track, and I called Be Real, and I said, give me a suggestion. Here's my plan is I get 3 icons on one track. And, he's always encouraging. He's like, great. Who do you want? And I said, well, in an ideal world, Chuck D would be amazing. I've never met Chuck. And so Be Real sends the track to Chuck D. Chuck D goes, yeah, no problem. I love it. We get Chuck D on the track. And then I sent it to D in New York, who's like, you want me to be on a track with Be Real and Chuck D? Absolutely. So you build those things slowly, and I started with a guy that appreciates me and I know loves working with me, Be Real. And you start there. You get B on the track. And you send it to Chuck. You're like, listen to this. This is really... Chuck's like, yeah, great. I get Chuck on it. Now I send it to the hip-hop meister himself, DMC. He's like, of course I want to be on it.
I can't believe that Walk This Way song turned 40 this year. When I saw that, I was like, what?
I know. 40, yeah. Makes us all old.
You brought up Chad Gray from Mudvayne earlier, and I want to talk about that because obviously... Mudvayne and Hell Yeah and the music he's made. He's on his 30th anniversary tour this year, which again, it's like mind blowing.
Yeah.
When you look at a guy like Chad, right, and you see him on stage with Mudvayne, just like with Manson, I guess, you see the image, you see the whatever, and you didn't know Chad.
Come on. Everyone nowadays knows that it's an act.
Yeah.
It's a persona, Manson isn't all dressed up going to 7-Eleven. You know what I mean? Chad Gray's not calling Postmates going, get me the donuts. It's like, fuck it. People need to understand it's show business. And Chad's a lovely guy. And I wanted, even though my donut line actually sounded quite good there,
I've run tape on it. That's getting associated in a button in the studio for life.
Of course it is. But I can't do it convincingly in a song. And I had this song, Devil in Your Eyes. And I sing it, but I wanted to have it be this, I guess it's a duet, right? I guess it's a duet with Chad Gray because he's in there. He's singing all the bits and the screams, and he's doing what I needed him to do. And, that's where he came from is I need one of those guys, and who's better at doing that shit than Chad Gray? And so I reached out, and he was kind enough to say yes and do the track.
Your longtime bandmate and Steve Stevens is on the album as well. He's going to be coming on my show soon because we're going to be talking about his guitar line and stuff. Give me some dirt on your longtime bandmate that can prepare me for talking to him soon.
No. There's another soundbite that you can use in promo because give me the dirt is always going to get no.
I tried to get dirt about Ozzy last time. I knew the no was coming.
I don't play that game. And also, by the way, there is no dirt on Steve Stevens. He's a wonderful guy. He's an incredible player. And I've been in a band with him for 17, 18 years. Where's the dirt, And even if there was, you're barking up the wrong tree with me.
When you and I talked a year and a half ago, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame voting was happening. Billy Idol did not get in last year. We were talking about what would happen if, he's in, baby. And it's about freaking time. Him and Steve are going in, right?
That's right. And we're playing.
I've seen the online debate because you only get so much time to play when you're an inductee. Have you guys already settled on the performance, or is the negotiation about which songs to play? Because people are going, how do you cram all those hits into that amount of time?
And again, I'm not new at this game. Do you think I'm going to tell you what we're going to be playing at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? I mean, please.
A girl can try.
Let's just say Billy Idol never disappoints. That's it. It's going to be great. And I am so happy for Billy and Steve. And I'm honored to be in the band.
When you and I talked about the Morrison project a year and a half ago, we talked about how difficult it would be for you to do a show or a tour with all of the guests on that album. Much like this album, you've got all of these people.
Well, yeah, I just made it even more impossible to tour. That's all I did.
But what we did talk about, and you were like, I'm stealing that idea, is trying to do one show for a concert film. That was a year and a half ago. Did anybody take you up on that idea yet?
No.
All right. I'm making it my mission, Mr. Morrison.
Make sure the check's got plenty of zeros and we can make it work.
The first album, you and I talked about how you had all the time because of COVID to work on those songs.
Yeah.
And at that point, it sounded like it may be just this one-off thing that was a passion project. Is Hollow leftover songs from your downtime, or you just were like, screw it, I'm making another record?
Not at all. That's a great question and very astute. And I can truthfully say that when I spoke to you last time, I wasn't going to do another album. I was worn out. It had been a lot more work from having fun in COVID to having top 10 and a number one active rock hit was a lot more work than I had initially thought was going to be. Because like I'd said to you, I was just messing around in COVID, and suddenly I've got this big album. We're making 9 videos. We're in the charts, radio, press. Very exciting, but I guess I had the feeling of stop while you're ahead. Appreciate what you've done, what you've created. Let's move on. And I truly felt that. And then, then, first of all, a couple of conversations with my record label who wanted to do it again. And, I have to give a shout out to TLG Zoid. They're a tiny, small label in Chicago that have, 3 or 4 passionate guys behind it. Right?
Which is a huge thing for an artist to be singing the praises of his label the way that you are.
100%. You see, I could be signed to a massive label and not know the names of the people that I work with. That is not my situation. I work with a label that I'm under no illusion are working with me because they believe in me. They're certainly not working with me because they think I'm a cash cow, because they are putting so much investment, time and money into the Billy Morrison brand. There's no way short term they're going to get their money back. And they still do it. It's because they are passionate about rock and roll. I will be loyal till the day I die, because when they called up after the Morrison project and they're like, look, we are so proud that we did that. Let's do it again.
Did you think about saying no at all, even for a second?
Of course. Anyone who knows me, including my record label, will tell you, if it's a no, it's a no. I'm going to say no. Look, here's a good example. When we started working together, they said to me, you've got to be on TikTok. And I just went, no. Well, but no, you have to be on TikTok. It helps algorithms, units, shifting, market. I'm like, no. Go find another artist. No, I don't do that. And so if I didn't want to do another album, I'd have said no. But when these guys ask, and then there was someone else in tech. My girlfriend was very complimentary and very inspiring. You haven't done what you can do yet. You should do it. Especially with the lead guitar, especially, a few things. And then I wrote Becoming as a one-off. And I was like, oh, okay. All right. Yeah. I like this. And so that none of the songs were leftovers. I wrote all of this and recorded it and produced it and mixed it and did it all within that time frame. So it was a different vibe to Morrison Project.
I've talked to a lot of people that have written a book, and they talk about the pressure of the first blank page. And once you get going, it opens the floodgates. Is it like that with an album too, that once you did Becoming, the floodgates opened back up again?
Definitely to a point, and then the floodgates shut up round about track 10. and then you're sitting there with 10 tracks, you're like, and most people will say that's enough, I'll put out 10 tracks. Have a look at how many tracks are on most people's new records. That's not me. I believe in old school, gatefold vinyl, credits, tactile, branded imaging everywhere. I believe in 12 songs on a record. And so I wouldn't let go at song 10, not necessarily song 10 in order, because obviously you sequence the songs once you've got them all. But I think I was about 10 songs in when I wrote Butterfly Effect, which is the last song on the record. And Butterfly Effect is by far and away the song I'm most proud of, because I didn't know I could do a song like that. And so that was written, and then that opened the floodgates for the last song. And then here we are, here's your record.
Songwriting, everybody has a different take on and how they do it. So do you bank riffs, or when you get brain locked, I've heard people say, I get in the shower because there's something about the shower that kind of opens up my creativity. Like, where do your ideas come from, and how do you save them for when you need them?
So what you're looking at behind me is a recording studio. So I have a recording studio. However, interesting, I've never been asked that. I don't bank riffs. I have a few voice memos that I did with Ozzy that no one will ever hear. Late night hotel rooms, him humming melodies, singing lyrics, me playing some guitar. But that's the only banked stuff, and I only keep that, out of posterity. I would say I have banked riffs in the past, and I used some of those on the original Morrison project. But if someone was to say to me right now, hey, give me a riff, I'd have to write it, because I've used everything that I have. And I only come in here when I've got something to do. I don't wander in here, I think I'll pick up a guitar. Like my life is playing guitar and writing. So when I have some downtime, I paint or I watch TV. You know what I mean? I don't wander in here. I'm not John Five. I'm not in there with a metronome just practicing and coming up with ideas. Also, I let creativity come to me. Many times I came in here, sat down, did about an hour and a half of work and hated it all and just walked out. It wasn't the day. It wasn't the time.
When I talk to guitar players, I always ask them about their first guitar.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me the story of it and tell me if you still have it.
I definitely don't still have it. I was a junkie for 15 years. I sold everything I had.
Oh.
When I cleaned up, I had a carrier bag from Pavilions. That was it. The clothes on my back and a carrier bag. I didn't have any possessions, any money, any house, nothing, right? I was homeless, so that's what I had. But my first guitar was a Gibson L6S, which you cannot find anymore. It had rotary knobs like you find on the front of a toaster. But it was a shape like a Les Paul. It was just a big old chunk of wood with strings. Gibson L6S, that was my first guitar. I don't know where it went. I mean, yeah, my memory of everything that's not yesterday is a bit blurry. I definitely did a few brain cells, so I have no idea where that guitar
Where did
went.
it come from? Did somebody give it to you?
I think my parents bought it for me when I was about 12. And by the time I was 15, I was shooting dope. So somewhere along the line, that guitar just went to a dealer. I'm sure of it,
I ask every songwriter that comes on the show about the craft of songwriting, because you're going to look and listen to a song differently than, say, I would as a fan. When you listen to music, is there a song that you covet, that you think is perfectly crafted, that you go, oh, that song is perfect, I wish I wrote it?
Of course, God Save the Queen by the Sex Pistols. It's the greatest 3.5-minute pop song in the world. It's a pop song. If you listen to the chords, they are simple, they are catchy. The chorus is absolutely huge. It has everything that I could ever want from a 3.5-minute pop song. That's the one.
Before I let you go, because I know you're very busy with the album and you're obviously touring with Billy Idol, you're going to be all over New England. You've got 3 shows all over New England next weekend. You're going to be at Mohegan in Connecticut on the 8th, at the Main Savings Amphitheater on the 11th, and the Bank of New Hampshire Pavilion on the 18th. When you and I talked last, and first, in all sincerity, I just want to offer my condolences. You and Ozzy were very close on a personal level, so my condolences to the loss of your friend.
Thank you.
The music business mourned him because of who he was to us, but to you, you and I talked about just the fact that you were just his friend. Something I did not follow up on the last time I talked to you. You said, Ozzy and I don't talk about music. We talk about what restaurants we're going to eat at. And you said, we talk about what English candy we miss. Now, you're going to be in town next weekend. Boston has a lot of English and British immigrants and British culture here. Please inform and educate me on the British candy that you miss, because I need to know what it is that you're missing and where I can find it. Because if you miss it, it's got to be good.
Well, the things that I miss are hard to find here. You can always find a Cadbury's Flake here. which is lovely, but the unsung hero of the English candy world is something called a Star Bar. And there is actually a place I know in LA that sells imported Cadbury Star Bars. So if you can find a Star Bar from Cadbury's chocolate in Boston, I urge you to go eat one, because you will then understand.
I love the similarities in culture. Boston, obviously so influenced by England, and the certain little things, the tastes of home. You've been in LA for what, 30 years now or something?
Yeah. And this is home. And this is, the taste of my home is, sushi. So that's the taste of home. But if you really want to understand the English chocolate, it's a Star Bar. It's a Cadbury's Flake. That Cadbury's Flake is just chocolate. There's no nuts or caramel or anything. So, and you can get those most places. It's just a better chocolate bar.
For anybody that can't see you right now, the smile on your face talking about this candy is a genuine happiness smile.
I'm trying to wrap the interview so I can get in my car and go and buy one now.
Well, the new album comes out on the 7th. Again, I love the passion in rock and roll right now with vinyl. I love that you are so passionate about things like the gatefold and the credit and the colored vinyl and all of that. So it means a lot that you sent me a copy, that you trust me to have it a couple weeks before people actually get to see it. And in all, congratulations. I know that you have not been with Billy Idol for as long as Steve Stevens, but the idea that a performance of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, that Billy is finally getting his due, and you've been a part of that for a very long time. So congratulations. I can't wait to see what songs you guys play. And huge congratulations on the album you never thought you were going to make, because it's awesome.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you for the support.
There he is, guitarist Billy Morrison. His new album, Hollow, comes out this Friday, August 7th. Billy Morrison's on tour with Billy Idol with 3 stops in New England. August 8th at the Mohegan Sun Arena, August 11th at the Maine Savings Amphitheater, and August 18th at the Bank of New Hampshire Pavilion. You'll find a link in the show notes of this episode to get your tickets. You'll also find a link to this episode's corresponding playlist. I make a playlist for every full-length episode of the Mistress Carrie podcast that features all of my guest music and all the artists and songs that we referenced in the interview. You'll find a link to Billy's first episode on the show, episode 250, plus all of Billy's links and all the Mistress Carrie links too. If you liked what you heard, don't forget to like, follow, comment, share, and subscribe to the Mistress Carrie podcast. New full-length episodes come out every Wednesday, plus every weekday you get the Sit Rep. The Situation Report breaks down all of your rock news, music headlines, and entertainment updates in about 5 minutes. And you never know when we're going to release a bonus episode. You can join me live every Tuesday night at 8:30 Eastern for my live streaming video show, Cocktails in the War Room. And you can always find me on the radio. Get the details on all of that and more at mistresscarrie.com. The Mistress Carrie podcast, a proud member of the Pantheon Podcast Network.